Howdy folks, my name is Mark Johnston and I do STEM education. So I have a new site, it's www.mjstem.com, mjstem.com. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do some very simple things with the brain. We're going to start off slow, and how to get started. I think that you, if you're a teacher or if you're a student, are really going to find this is quite easy. And so I hope you enjoy this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
A panic phone, the shadows on the door.
A really good price. You're actually going to have an optical one that is not like the others. They have converted over to interesting, all right? All right, so here we are with VEX V5 installed and open and running. And you can see here on this screen, I also have the V5 brain. Now, I know you might, if you're new to V5 or if you're new to VEX, or if you're old to VEX, you've been around for a long time, you may hear people call it Cortex. It is not a Cortex. That is the name of the old brain that was used. And so, you know, some people just have it built into their vocabulary as Cortex. So if you hear somebody talking about V5 and they say the V5 Cortex, don't be confused. They do mean just, they mean the brain, this thing that you're looking at right here. Now I have it zoomed in on the screen and I don't have any devices plugged into it. I simply have the battery plugged in. And I have the battery plugged into the wall. If that's kind of new to you, then feel free to take a look at some of my earlier video on an introduction beginner's guide, and I'll make sure to put a link to that in the description and a card on the screen. Well, let's go ahead and get into the program here. The very first thing I want to draw your attention to is right here at the top where it says VEX Code Project. And then it says slot 1. The brain that you're using can store 8 different programs. And if you click on this slot button, you'll see that those 8 different slots are represented here. By default, it starts you out with slot 1. And so we're going to use that one. Then right next to that, you'll see that it says VEX Code Project as the default name. And when you go to click save, it's going to want to use that name for your save file, and it's also going to be displaying that name on the brain so that when you are trying to access your various programs, when you're away from your computer, you'll be able to easily click on the on-screen touch display. You'll be able to select the program, one of the 8 programs you've uploaded to the brain. So I'm going to go ahead and name this one Mark's Demo, and then click rename. And so now it says Mark's Demo. Now, I just today had a student plug the brain in to their Chromebook. They installed VEX Code V5, and I'm at a school district with Chromebooks they're managed devices. But because it's a Chrome web store or Chrome store application, it didn't require any approval or anything like that. So it's very easy. Now, that may not be the case in your district or for your Chromebooks, but for us anyway, it's been extremely easy to get the application running on their computer, and then we plug in the brain, and he even had to do a firmware update, and he just clicked on it, clicked firmware update. It all went very, very smoothly. So it was really great. At that point, I just said, hey buddy, just, make it say something. And he was like, oh, okay. And so I said, we saw that the brain was connected, and then we just dragged over a print, and then I'll just do something very simple, like, hi, my name is Mark, and not very proper grammar to start with an and, but this is a STEM class, all right? Anyway, and And I like STEM, exclamation point, and VEX. Yeah. VEX V5. We'll see if it has enough room to print all that straight across the screen. By default, it's going to print it right at there at the top. And you can see I was doing some testing earlier. And it says VEX Code Project, and then, hi, I'm Mark. Let me click stop. And then let's kind of back out. So that power button doubles as a back button. So I just went ahead and pushed that. And so actually this is kind of what you'll see on your screen. Of course, if you have not downloaded any programs, you won't see that little, red icon in the lower left. And that icon is showing that I have a program already on the brain. And the V with the little lines at the top is showing that it's a blocks program that I've downloaded to the brain. If yours will probably just show a 1 for an empty slot, and that's fine, just like mine shows 2 and 3. So at this point, this is your brand new program. You're ready to go. In the upper right, you're going to click download. So I'll just go ahead and click that now. It's going to take a moment, and then you're going to see a screen like this. It says Mark's Demo. So it's showing the title there at the top that I created. And then you'll see a run or timed run, match, wiring. There's a lot of options here for various applications at various use case scenarios. But really, you're mainly going to use just run in the beginning. And those other options, you probably won't use those for a little while, if ever. A lot of the V5 stuff is built for competition as well. So depending upon in your classroom, if you're ever going to do competition, if not, then we can just keep it simple. So the program's been downloaded. It's on the brain. At this point, I could unplug the brain. I could take it over to another desk or something, access the program and run it and see how it goes. But right here, because it's plugged into the computer, I can control it from the computer. So that's what I'm doing with this run, which is this like play button, and stop, which is this stop button. So if you're ever confused, if it's not doing what you want it to do, it's probably because you didn't download any updates or changes first. But let's go ahead. I think the suspense is killing us. Let's go ahead and click run. And there we go. Look I just barely had enough room to write, hi, my name is Mark, and I like STEM and VEX V5. All right. There's a lot of different things we can do with text on the screen. If I, want to go ahead and type something else, if I were to, for instance, duplicate that and put it right below, and then I'm going to go ahead and change the top one to something like the program has started. ... Because I like ellipses, because I guess I'm a boomer. I don't know. That's what the kids tell me. I don't know. I like ellipses. They're cool. Anyway, so the program has started. ... All right. And now if I go ahead and download and run this, notice that it says the program has started. ... Hi, my name is Mark, and it runs off the end. So I need to tell it to go to print the hi, my name is Mark to the very next row. And so, I could clear all the rows. There's a lot of things you can do. So let's start off by just having it jump to the next row. So we'll say, set cursor to next row on the brain, and then I'll download. Let me run it again. And there you go. Program has started. Hi, my name is Mark, and I like STEM and VEX V5. So now let's say that we have some calibration going on, some things that are happening where maybe the brain is a little bit slow to get started. If you have a lot of stuff in your setup, you might want to do something like the program has started, and then have all the calibration stuff happen before it says, okay, we're ready to go. I'm just going to simulate that because we're trying to keep it simple right now. I'm going to go to control and just put in, say, like a 2-second wait. And so we'll see that the program has started, and we'll see that for 2 seconds. But then instead of going to the next row, I want it to clear the screen and then just put, hi, my name is Mark, I like STEM and VEX VR. So, or VEX V5. I like VR too. But here we go with clear all rows on the brain. And then there we go. I'll print this. Now let's try it again. Download and run. The program is started. And then, oh, see, now look at this. The thing is that the cursor of where, just like as if you were typing, the cursor is still there. So it didn't like backspace and now the cursor is at the beginning again. So you have to set the cursor to row 1, column 1, or wherever it is that you want it to print. If you say go to the next row, then by default, it'll go to the next row to the very first column. But because I'm ending off here on this first row at the program started, the next place it's going to print is in that row. So I need to say set cursor to row 1, column 1, and then print that. So as you can see, there's a lot of trial and error. And there you go. It worked. Okay. There's a lot of trial and error when you're just getting started. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't be afraid to throw something in there and click test and then, try something else. Worst case scenario, you can always, clear the brain, delete the programs, start over. Okay. But give it a shot. Don't be afraid to try stuff. All right. I'm going to show you one more thing that you can do with the brain I think is kind of fun. And then we're going to call this good for this video. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I'm going to do in the next video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use the brain as a sensor. That's going to be a pretty straightforward video, again, just like this. So let's go ahead and look at one more thing, how we can draw a box on the brain. Okay, so we're going to draw on the brain. So you'll notice these are the print commands under look. And then right below that, so these are the print commands. Then right below that, you have these draw commands. And the draw commands are going to be using pixels. So how do we know where to print something on the screen? Because we are going to be setting fixed numbers. So it's not relative. We don't say, print over to this or that. These are just fixed coordinates on the brain. At this point, let me show you something. I don't always remember everything, nor does anybody. Here in the upper right, you may have seen this little question mark. Now, sometimes I avoid these things because in the past I've used little question marks and they've caused more confusion or they load forever and stuff. I'm talking to you, Microsoft Office. A lot of times they are not helpful. And they ask you at the bottom, is this helpful? No, it was not helpful. Anyway, so I'm going to click the little question mark. And then it says, select a block to see more information. Well, this draw a rectangle box looks kind of interesting. So why don't I click on that? And then look at the information that is provided here. It is clear. It shows me a picture of the block, so I know I clicked on the right thing. How to use it. It says the values. It's the top left corner. It's the X coordinate. The top left corner Y coordinate is value 2. 3 is the width of the triangle. And then 4 is the height of the triangle. So where do you want it to start? And then in this case, it is relative. How big the triangle, where it goes is relative to the size that you want it to. So what I'm going to do is just make it fill the entire screen. Okay. I'm going to make like a border. Now it's kind of small here. I can see it just fine. But my display, it's showing that it is how many pixels it is wide. It is 480 pixels wide and 240 pixels tall. So it is a, what would that be? 240 by 480 or 480 by 240 display. All right. So here we go with a rectangle. let's go ahead and close that. And then draw rectangle, bring it over here. And I do want it to start in the upper left corner. Now, I know that's a little strange, especially maybe to the math people, but it does start in the upper left corner, and the X coordinates go positive as they go to the right, as you would expect. But here's where you might be confused. The Y coordinates go positive as you go down on the screen. I mean, you just got to know that. All right. You can always click the question mark, but I'm going to draw a rectangle from 0 to 480. So actually the width of the rectangle, which will fill up the entire screen. And then 240, which is the height of the rectangle, which will again fill up the screen. So let me go ahead and take this wait command, and the program has started. And yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the clear all rows and the set cursor. We don't need that anymore. And so we're going to just go back to printing. Hi, my name is Mark. And then we'll draw the rectangle. So let me go ahead and download and then run. And you can see it happened immediately, but where's my text? Well, the thing is that the rectangle, it's not just the lines, it's filled in. So if I wanted to see my text, then, I would need to start a little bit lower in the Y coordinate. So if I change the Y coordinate to, let's just say like 50, let's say 40. All right, make it easy. And then I still want to see the bottom of the rectangle. So I'll make the height only 200. So it's going to start at 40 down and then go 200 further. So it'll be at the 240 area. So let me download again and then run again. And there you go. I didn't need to go down 40. I could have gone down maybe 20, it looks like, and then go to 220. All right. And then download again and run. So you can see the trial and error to kind of get things exactly the way you like them. Now you can't see that bottom line because of the camera angle, but it's there. Trust me. Now let's say I want to make a red box, a red rectangle filled inside. You can see in here, there is a set fill color on brain to red. And I need to do that before I draw the rectangle. So let me do that there, and then download, and then run. Ta-da! My camera doesn't like that red color. Let's change it to orange. Ooh. Download and run. Okay. Yeah, my camera doesn't like that color either. Oh well. But you can see you got a lot of different colors. There is transparent. Okay. So you know what? I apologize. I didn't actually remember that there was a transparent. So let's do 240 again. Let's do a border all the way around. And let's try that again. Maybe we can see the text below. And let's run. And then sure enough, we can. And then also, let's say I want it to be a red box. So I'll set or you know what? Let's do a green one. There we go. And so now we should get a green rectangle, just a rectangle line. We download. You notice I click stop there. You don't have to click stop. And there you go. Now I got a green border going all the way around. All right. So at that point, feel free to play around with all of those options, all of those things that are available to you for drawing. When I took I took a training with Carnegie Mellon for their robotics, the Robotics Academy, Carnegie Mellon on VEX V5. We programmed in C++, but you could do all kinds of drawings, and we drew a face, and I made a robot face that like blinked its eyes or smiled or something. I don't remember what it did. It moved around, something like that. Cause I'm a little bit extra like that. All we had to do is do a face, but I made it an animation. So maybe we'll get into that in the future. Like I said, I want to start slow. And so I really hope that you join me for the next video. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video as well. And if you did enjoy that video, I would appreciate it if you gave me a like. Also, feel free to email me any questions at mark@mjstem.com. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as soon as I'm able to. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.